Today is the 47th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which happened on November 10, 1975. As someone who grew up around the Great Lakes with two parents in the Coast Guard, I can't resist telling this story. The SS Edmund Fitzgerald, also known as the Mighty Fitz, was the largest Great Lakes freighter of its time. It was launched in 1958 and for 17 years carried loads of taconite iron ore from mines in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota down to steel mills in places like Detroit and Toledo. On November 9, 1975, she departed Superior, Wisconsin with a full load of ore pellets. Captain Ernest M. McSorley was aware that a winter storm was bearing down on them, and at 7 p.m. that night, the National Weather Service made it official with a gale warning, and then later a winter storm warning. By late afternoon on November 10th, conditions had deteriorated significantly. The Edmund Fitzgerald was taking on water and listing to one side. They were facing sustained winds of almost 60 miles per hour with hurricane-force gusts and waves up to 25 feet high. They'd also lost both of their radars, so they were relying on a nearby ship, the Arthur M. Anderson, to help guide them to the safety of Whitefish Bay. Captain McSorley radioed the other ships saying he was taking heavy seas over the deck in one of the worst seas he had ever been in. On their way to pass the Edmund Fitzgerald, the Arthur M. Anderson kept track of her on radar. At 7:10 p.m., they radioed to check in on the doomed ship. With Captain McSorley reporting back, "We are holding our own." But minutes later, at 7:15, the Fitz vanished off radar and never reappeared, and all future radio calls went unanswered. Despite the storm, the Arthur M. Anderson turned back to search the area where the Edmund Fitzgerald disappeared. They recovered the ship's lifeboats and other debris, but there were no survivors from the 29-man crew. No one knows for certain exactly what happened, although we know it must have happened fast. The Fitz has gone on to become one of the most famous shipwrecks of all time, thanks in part to the popular song "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald," released in 1976 by Gordon Lightfoot. Which, on a personal note, was the first cassette tape I ever requested my mom purchase for me after my second grade teacher played it for us in class. Tragically, they were just 17 miles from safety, a distance the Edmund Fitzgerald could have covered within an hour at her top speed. The wreck was found a few days later using magnetic anomaly detection technology, located at a depth of 530 feet. The ship is broken into two main pieces, although it's unclear if this happened at the surface or as it sank. Since then, multiple dives have been conducted, including one in 1995 to retrieve the ship's bell to be preserved at the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum at the request of the families of those lost. A replica engraved with the names of the 29 crewmen was installed in its place. The captain and all 28 crew remain with the wreck, eternally preserved by the icy waters that inhibit the growth of bacteria that would normally cause them to decompose. They aren't alone down there, though. That area of Lake Superior has claimed 240 ships between 1816 and 1975.